Hello everybody and welcome to this week's Markets to Watch from Smack the Markets for week commencing the 8th of April. Now this week is fairly light on the fundamental news calendar front. We don't have many sort of scheduled news announcements, but we do have a few important ones. So namely, on Wednesday, we have the ECB interest rate announcement. So that's an important one for Euro on Wednesday. And also on Friday is the 12th, and that is another Brexit deadline for the UK as well. So important week for both the Euro and also Great British Pound on that front. So let's take a look at a few markets here that we're focusing on in the trading room this week. Let's come and take a look at the US markets here, the US Dow Jones, and take a look at this from the, open this up on the daily chart. So from last week here, the market again was particularly bullish. And if you remember, we were looking for bullish momentum this week as it was the start of a new quarter and also the start of a new month. So it was looking for higher prices as new money flows were coming in, or looking for evidence of those money flows. Now that actually sort of played out and we had a very bullish week on these US indices. The Dow Jones here pushing up very comfortably above that 26,200 level. So where does this leave this market now? Well, it's breaking out above key levels here, and more importantly, out of this sort of like tight range that the market's been stuck in here for the best part of this year, as you can see, going right the way back to sort of February time. So now we're getting into new sort of territory here. Next sort of like target level is up here towards the 27,000, which is the old highs as well, or the historical highs. So we could be looking at markets here on the sort of mid time frames. You can see that the market's pulling back into moving averages, back into sort of key levels. These are nice areas where sort of traders start to look for value entries when they're looking for new sort of long positions on this market. And we'll certainly be looking for new longs on this up into that 27,000 level as long as these trends stay intact. Now, if we come and take a look at gold, last week we were looking at gold here being stuck within this range of between the 1.3 level and the 1,290. Now, last week the market for the most part of the week stayed contained within this range. If you recall, we were looking for opportunities either side. Once the market broke out of this range, we had this sort of 1.275 and 1,320 up here as the sort of next major sort of levels on this market. Now, what's happened this week is, and it's probably easier to see this on the 4-hour time frame, is that the market stayed, as I say, for most of the week contained within that range, but then tested the lows here a couple of times. This last test here was on Friday. The market sort of tried to break out to the short side, just couldn't hold underneath that level, and now it's moved to the high side. So what's happened here is that the lows of the market's tested the lows. There's not enough sellers here in order to drive the market below the 129 level. So now that the market's now pushing up towards the top end of this range, obviously there's no appetite to push the market below the range at the moment, and that's allowing for the market to go in the only other direction that's available on the table. So again, if the market sort of continues to stay above 1.3, we'll be looking for new long positions and looking to trade this back up towards the long side here. From a higher time frame perspective, this market does look sort of bullish, especially above that sort of key level. Now, as far as Forex markets were concerned, last week we spoke of the euro dollar, which is still continued to be contained within that range, still hasn't sort of broken out to the short side. And again, the non-farm payroll news didn't really have much of an impact on the US dollar to help support a move there. We also mentioned opportunities here on Singapore dollar against the Swissy. And again, this market now is still in play. So what's happened here, we were looking for the market to sort of move off this level here on the weekly chart and looking for a sort of a test up here towards this 7,400. Now, last week, the market made some good progress towards that level. Then at the tail end of the week, we got the move back down to retest the 73,600 level. As long as the market can hold above this level, then the bullish momentum remains intact, and we'll be looking for another test up here towards an attempt to test and reach the 7,400 level up here. If this lower level gets taken out, well, then it changes the trend here on this market for many time frames, and we'll be looking for the more shorting opportunities. But at this moment in time, the upward momentum is still intact. Now, another market here that I think is quite interesting that we'll be keeping an eye on in the trading room is Aussie dollar against the Kiwi. Again, if we come and take a look at this here on the daily chart, you can see that the market now has had very, very bullish, Aussie's been very, very bullish against the Kiwi here. The market's now pushed through a key level, and you can see this sort of level through here, this sort of 1053 area. It's been tested multiple times. The market's now sort of pushed quite comfortably through there, and it gets us into a new trading window up here towards this sort of 1066 area. So that's quite a decent size sort of opportunity there, but it has had quite a move already. If we come down to the 8-hour chart and the 4-hour chart, we can see that we've got very good momentum in these markets at the moment. Nice structured geometry on these time frames as well. And the market again coming back into these sort of value areas, back into the moving averages, where traders sort of often find opportunities to be able to get positioned, to be able to trade these trends to the long side. And of course, we've got that nice window there for trading window there on the daily time frame to look for opportunities in between. So as long as these long trends stay intact, we'll be looking for longs to trade this market up towards that 1065 area. So there's a few markets there that we're keeping a close eye on in the trading room. I certainly hope it helps. Speak to you later. Bye for now.